Now, when you think of cruiser motorcycles, there's one brand that always comes to mind, and that is Harley-Davidson. But is Harley losing its way, and could Indian motorcycles steal the spotlight? In this video, I'm going to find out. Now, you join me down a no-through road in the beautiful Rutland countryside. It is a freezing cold day today. It's 1 degree, so not quite freezing cold, and it's currently sleeting, so it really is cold. I probably should have wrapped up a bit warmer, but never mind. Now, I've taken out the Indian Scout Rogue because this is the more standard bike of the two. The other one's highly customised, and my Harley's on charge, and I thought, well, I've got the Indian, so why not take it out? And it's one of those bikes that I want to take out again and again and again, and I find that that is a rare occurrence. A lot of the bikes that we get to review, I review them, and then they stay in the garage until it's time for them to be collected. But with these Indians, every opportunity I've had, I've wanted to get out on them. So that says a lot about them, but it also says a lot about me, because this is the kind of bike I like to ride. And obviously I own the Harley-Davidson myself. And the reason you haven't seen any Indians on the channel, apart from two about 3 years ago, is because we haven't been able to get hold of any. We have been trying direct, but unfortunately we haven't been successful thus far. So if you are watching this video, Indian, please do send me an email so we can get something sorted. But this video has been made possible by the generosity of More Speed Racing for delivering me these two Indians. He's a fantastic chap, and they do loads of in-house custom work. And if you're interested in seeing that custom Indian Scout, then you can check out my other video, which I'll leave in the link in the description. But onto the subject of Harley versus Indian. Now, as I said in the intro, Harley-Davidson are who come to the front of your mind when you think about cruiser motorcycles. It certainly is with me. And if you say to someone else, even someone who's not into bikes, they'll know who Harley-Davidson are, but they might not know who Indian are. And I can already hear the comments saying, well, Indian have been going since 1901 and Harley since 1903, so Indian are the longer brand. But they had about a 50 or 60 year hiatus from 1953, I think it was, where they ceased production, and they've had a bit of a rocky past until they were bought out by Polaris in, I think, 2011, and then they've started producing motorcycles properly again. Now, the Polaris bikes have definitely improved over the years, and I think these are really good quality bikes. The quality compared to a Harley-Davidson is pretty similar. I think Harleys overall feel a little bit better quality, and just the odd small thing like the badging on this bike, it's kind of lifting here and there, and it doesn't feel like the best quality badging. So they could definitely improve little things like that. And with a motorcycle like this, or a Harley-Davidson, it's all about the fine details, I think, and that just could be sorted. But it's not the end of the world, and you could take that off and do a spray job, or just leave it without the badging. But it'd be nice if it was slightly better quality. I've just been told by a very rude posh lady to get lost and film somewhere else. So I'm going to get lost, and then I'll see you in the next location. I've found another nice spot away from the angry old posh lady. I don't know what her problem was. Got out on the wrong side of bed, I think. But carrying on from where I left off, I think Harley-Davidson haven't had the smoothest history either, but obviously they have been producing motorcycles non-stop the whole time, and Harleys seem to have a huge stigma around them, and I don't know what it is, but whenever we post a Harley video, there's a fair share of hate comments against the bikes, against the riders, against you for even posting a video of a Harley. And I don't really get it because, well, we're all on two wheels, and if you don't like Harley-Davidsons, don't watch a video about Harley-Davidson. Simple as. Go, if you like Ducatis or BMWs, go and watch a video of one of those. Personally, I like all kinds of bikes, and I will happily do videos on all of them, but you know, if you don't like the bike, don't watch it. But I don't think Indians have that same stigma around them, and that's just by going off other people's content and the comments on their videos and the comments you get here and there about Indians. We don't get many because we haven't done many, so hopefully we'll have a few more people who are interested in Indians onto the channel. But I haven't yet seen the comments of my reviews of these two Indians because as we're filming this, they haven't gone live yet. So once they go live, it'll be interesting to see the difference in comments on an Indian video to a Harley video because yeah, as I say, they don't seem to have that stigma around them. Before I carry on with the video, please do take a second out of your day just to click the subscribe button if you want to see more of our videos. It helps us out massively and it's free, so it doesn't cost you a penny. And if you are someone who wants to support the channel a little bit further, you can also become a channel member, which is a small subscription fee, and that means you'll see our videos before anyone else, and sometimes that could be 2 or 3 weeks before they actually go live onto YouTube for the rest of you. So if that's something you're interested in, there will be a link in the description for you to be able to sign up to that. But if you don't want to do that, no problem, just pressing subscribe helps us out massively anyway. I've owned my 2021 Harley-Davidson Softail Standard from new, and I've done almost about 5,000 miles on it now, so I've got to grips with that bike and I do really love it. And if you've been watching the channel recently, you'll know I made a video talking about whether I should sell it and move on. And I'm the kind of person who does get bored of things after you know, a year or so. I haven't got bored of that bike, but I think when you're riding loads of other bikes and it's not being ridden, you forget how much you like it, and then when you do take it out you go, oh yeah, that's why I bought this bike. But of all the bikes that would sort of change my mind, I think an Indian could be one. Not necessarily this one, but I think one of their bikes would definitely suit me very well. And as far as a modern cruiser goes, I think Indian have cracked the recipe fantastically, because as we know, Harley-Davidson have been bringing out some new Sportsters like the Sportster S and the Nightster, and they're very far away from what the Harley-Davidson essence is. They're very modern and they're very sort of clinical in a way, and they don't feel like a Harley. But what Indian have done is produce a modern cruiser in the Scout range that feels modern but retains the classic looks. It looks fantastic but also modern at the same time. So it's a really good looking machine, but also in the way it performs is phenomenal, because the way they've done this engine, you get incredible performance, and when you rev it up you really get some good power out of it, but you also retain that character, that low P tick-over sound which we all love from these V-twins, and you don't get that at all with the new Harley Sportsters, and that's why die-hard Harley people have sort of lost their love for that. So they certainly wouldn't be buying those new bikes, but of course they still produce the Softail range for the people who love Harleys for Harleys. But could they be stepping too far in the wrong direction? Who knows? You tell me in the comments below. As far as the new Sportsters go, they don't quite know what they are, and I think it's a case of trying to be a sports bike but almost look like a Harley, and they just don't feel like a Harley or sound like a Harley. And I think if you want a Harley, that's what you want from it. You want it to be a Harley, not something else. And if you want a sports bike, you're probably not interested in those. So there is a niche for them and people do love them. I'm not saying that no one likes them. because they definitely do. But generally speaking, I think they've not quite got it right. Whereas if you wanted a sportier cruiser, this would be the one I would go for, because wow, it is something else. It sounds fabulous, it goes like stink, and by God, it looks good. But as I say, this one, the front end's a bit too light for me, so I'd like to try out the Scout Bobber and the Scout Bobber 20. That looks really cool. That's right up my street, so I think that would be the one I would like out of the Scout range. We're in a crucial time now, really, for Harley-Davidson to see what their decisions are and where they go next, because if they start producing too many bikes that are like the Sportsters and nothing for that old Sportster market, then they could start going too far in the wrong direction. What I think they really need to do is produce a smaller capacity Sportster-esque bike that is similar to the old Iron, that meets the emissions. It's certainly possible, and with a V-twin, maybe a 650cc, 750, something like that, but with the proper Harley character, the sound, the noise, the feel that you expect from a Harley, and the looks, the classic old school cruiser looks, but for a reasonable price point, under £10,000, maybe 8.5. That sort of price point is where they need to produce a bike, because it will sell like hotcakes. It really would. And we could see that from the Royal Enfield Super Meteor, because that bike is super popular and it fills that gap in the market where Harley-Davidson have left it open for them. So there's definitely a market for it, and especially one with a V-twin, because that's the sort of pinnacle of a cruiser engine, isn't it, really? A V-twin is the one to have. Now, Indian, if they carry on the way they're going and keep making small improvements over the years, then they really are heading in the right direction, and I'm very impressed with what they are doing. So they could be the new king of the cruisers, and who knows, they might steal the spotlight from Harley-Davidson. What do you think? If you're a Harley rider or an Indian rider, who do you think's better? Because they're very similar in ways, but also very different in others. So let me know in the comments below. Of course, Harley and Indian aren't the only brands who make cruiser motorcycles, but they are the only two who predominantly make cruisers and not many other kinds of bikes, whereas with the other manufacturers, it's the other way round.